Welcome to The Authentic Voice, a space for women ready to own their strength, find their voice, and rewrite their stories. I'm your host, Melissa Ann Palmer, women's fiction author and clinical social worker. And whether you're here for a deep dive into mental health, personal growth, or our monthly journaling series, I'm so glad you're joining me today to explore what it means to live and write with heart. Let's get into today's episode. So, I've been doing some reflecting lately, looking back at the long, winding road it took me to finally become a published author. It definitely wasn't an overnight journey, and I learned a whole lot of lessons along the way, mostly by making plenty of mistakes first. If you're working towards a big dream of your own right now, I wanted to just share a few of my biggest takeaways that kept me going when things got tough. So, here are 5 key lessons I learned on the road to becoming a published author. Number 1, showing up matters way more than being perfect. Those initial drafts were very rough. They were awkward, and honestly, they just weren't very good. I can't tell you how many times I really wanted to throw in the towel, convinced I just didn't have what it takes to bring my story to life. But the biggest thing I learned right off the bat is that perseverance is a writer's absolute best friend. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to keep showing up for your pages. I had to force myself to keep typing, knowing that a finished, chaotic first draft gives you something to work with, while a perfect, unwritten novel gives you nothing. Number 2, finding your why changes everything. This was a big one for me. The writing really started to flow and everything got a whole lot easier the moment I clearly defined my purpose and my genre. So for the longest time, I felt like I was writing into a void, just trying to appeal to absolutely everyone, which left the story feeling unfocused and watered down. Everything changed when I really got clear on my mission, and that is to help women find their inner strength and voice. Settling into women's fiction became my true North Star. It's guided every single plot choice, dialogue exchange, and emotional beat. Once I knew exactly why I was writing, figuring out the what and the how really did just fall into place. Number 3, leaning into the rewrite. While staying determined definitely gets you all the way to the end, revision is where the real magic happens. This was actually the biggest part of my journey. I quickly realized that the bulk of the work isn't the first creative outpouring. It's the slow, brutal process of rewriting, cutting, refining, cutting some more. It forced me to really look at my own work objectively and accept that sometimes you just have to let go of scenes you love for the good of the overall story. It's definitely a lesson in humility, but it really is so worth it. This was a huge thing for me. I had to cut several scenes, which I really, really liked, but when I looked at it objectively, they weren't moving the story forward, and they were really kind of pulling away from the main focus of it. So I did decide to cut some of those. Number 4, you really are stronger than your self doubt. Writing a novel is a non-stop loop of creating things and then immediately doubting them. There's definitely no escaping that. Every single milestone from finishing the first draft to sending it out to critique partners brought a whole new wave of nerve-wracking questions. The only way I got through it was to constantly remind myself of Emma's journey in Dance of the Firefly. The struggle is just part of the narrative, and we're always stronger than our fear of failing. And number 5, putting it out there is a whole new chapter. So once the novel was actually finished, I realized the adventure was really just beginning. I had to learn how to step out of my quiet writer's cave and actually connect with readers. At the end of the day, a story doesn't fully come alive until it's shared. The absolute best reward has been seeing how readers connect with the themes of healing and hope that I have put so much of my heart into. So, if you're working towards a really big goal right now, whether you're writing a book or making a big life transition, just keep this in mind. Anchor yourself in your purpose, keep pushing through the rough patches, and trust that you are fully capable of achieving something much bigger than you think. And before we go, I'd like to leave you with this week's permission slip. I give you permission for a vaguely competent attempt to be okay. And you can find a digital copy of that ticket and all the links in the show notes. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe and share it with a woman in your life who is finding her own voice. For more deep dives and to join our community, head over to my Substack, The Authentic Voice. I'm Melissa Ann Palmer, and remember, your voice is the most authentic thing you own. I'll see you next time.